Y'all, it's your girl Sonja, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Today I have a real treat for you guys. Well, it's definitely a treat for me. I have with me one of JSU greats, Mr. Casey Therriault. What's up, Casey? How are you doing today?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I just you reached out to me the other day, so I'm excited to do the interview.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining the show.
Of
So,
course.
for those who do not know who you are, please let them know what Casey Therriault, a.k.a. White Tiger, accomplished at JSU.
Uh, yeah. So I mean, I was there. It's been a long time now. It's been 10 years. So I was there
Yeah.
2010, 2011 for our two great seasons there, and yeah, I kind of came in hot. I came in blazing, and
Yes, you did.
yeah, we were able to do some special things when I was there. I think we just had. I think it was just right time, right place for me as far as the situation that I fell into at Jackson State. And kind of what led me there. I had a lot of motivation to kind of prove not only to myself, but to a lot of people that that I belonged, that I was gonna make a statement, that I was gonna leave my name in the books for a long time. So that was something that I feel like I did, and I feel like our classes did, and our coaches did at the time, and I feel like the fans enjoyed those 2 years that I had at Jackson State.
Yes, we did, and you did come in blazing, and we really appreciate it. We're going to actually talk about one of those games later on in the interview, but yeah, it was an honor to have you there, and you came to visit maybe about 3 or 4. No, it's been longer than that. Maybe I hadn't seen you since maybe 6 years ago, so you got to
Hmm.
come back for sure soon. So. But as you know, it's been a very exciting few weeks at Jackson State with the rumors of a new football coach rather. And as of this week, Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Coach Prime, was named head coach of Jackson State's football team.
Right.
What was your reaction when you heard the news?
I had, once the news was confirmed, I had, like I didn't really have a reaction at first. Because it's Deion Sanders, you instantly have to go out of like, and I've kind of worshipped him as a football player for such a long time to, okay, now let's try to get out of this and try to think of how it's going to work as a coach, right? And then it's
Right.
kind of like, well, if I was a kid coming up, I would definitely want to play for him. So there's that thing, and then there's the whole, because Jackson State is a special place where there can be excitement, but if you don't come in and win, it don't matter who you are, you're going to be, you're going to be thrown out quickly. So it's just one of those things where I know he's done anything yet, he's put his mind to and done it better than anybody to pretty much ever exist in his realm. So when I factor that in, I can't think it's going to go bad. I just know a lot of people sometimes come in a little overconfident to Jackson State, and sometimes it doesn't work out as well as everybody hopes.
Right. And I feel you on that. When I first heard the news a couple of months ago, my thing was I just want to win.
Yeah.
I love Deion, as a player, as an analyst, and I'm excited about him coming in. I was at the introduction and the press conference this week, so I just want to win. So I'm excited,
Right.
and I'm willing. Like many other Tiger fans, we're willing to give him a chance. So Let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
So,
of course. I mean,
yeah.
oh no, I just say, yeah, I definitely agree. And just winning is the ultimate goal. And obviously, it's always been a thing where it's like, let's get more people to talk about us. Let's get more people watching. Let's get more people listening. And this is definitely going to do that. So I think that's a great thing too. And just drawing more attention to not only the HBCU world, but to Jackson State specifically. And I think that's also a very big thing that can happen with Deion becoming our head coach.
Exactly. So, like you said, so when you heard the news, did it make you want to come back to college to play for him?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be something special if I could get a couple years left in that facility.
Exactly.
But yeah, of course. I mean,
we would take you.
Deion was, everyone's going to say it, but, he was truly my, I was never a quarterback guy growing up. I actually used to argue with my coaches about not wanting to play quarterback, and I could attribute that 50% of that to Deion Sanders because I always wanted to play D-back and receiver. So, it was kind of like my idol growing up as far as watching football. I would always have these battles with my older brother who worshiped Jerry Rice, and I was always saying how, Jerry Rice wouldn't have a catch this game because he's playing Deion. So, yeah, it's kind of nostalgic for me. And then he ends up at Jackson State, so it's a small world.
Very small world. So, what do you think this hire for Jackson? What does this hire do for Jackson State?
I mean, I think, like I said, there may be a lot of, since when did people start caring so much or have an opinion about Jackson State? But I think that's exactly what we need. I think we need a lot of people to start paying attention because I think for the longest it's kind of been, Jackson State, HBCUs, the SWAC. It's kind of just looked at as like, it's Division I, but they don't really have the infrastructure that's needed. It's just all nonsense. It's almost like we've been looked at as not having everything in place. So there's really nothing to argue when a guy like Deion invests pretty much the whole latter part of his career in choosing Jackson State and, trying to build something once again that's great there, especially with the tradition that we have. I mean, that's a lot to live up to. So I'm just glad that it's happening at Jackson State, obviously, but I think it means a lot just as far as now we got hopefully a lot more people watching and looking.
Absolutely. I really think because of his name, because of who he is, the recruiting, money,
right.
People will be, ESPN is going to probably be scrambling to get black schools on TV now, not just ESPNU or it's ESPN2. So it's a lot that's coming out regarding this. I totally agree with you. And speaking of recruiting, how much easier is it for Coach Prime to get into a potential prospect's home because of who he is?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a football home, there's pretty much, it doesn't matter if your kid's a Power 5 kid or if your kid's on the fence. You're going to let Deion in your home and at least pitch you why he should come play for you.
Right. I totally agree. Yeah, I don't think it'll be any problem for him getting into anyone's home right now, even if it's just for a conversation. He's already offered several high-profile recruit scholarships. Coach Prime is going against big football programs such as Georgia, LSU, Alabama. As a matter of fact, he just picked up four-star recruit defensive back Javarius Selman, who's transferring from the SEC and Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about his aggressiveness just being the coach for only a week?
I mean, I think he's making a statement. I mean, I think Primetime has made a statement his whole life, so I don't think it's any different from what he's doing now. I think he's going and getting what he wants, and I think he's always done that. So, that's only going to benefit the atmosphere. That's going to benefit the culture because sometimes, we're not always in a position to just go and take what we want. We're not playing football at Alabama and Auburn, so sometimes you got to wait for somebody to open that door when you're at a place that it's not a high profile. So when you have a coach going out there and kind of taking things and showing you that sometimes you got to be the aggressor to go and get what you want, I think it sends a good message to kids, to the fans, and to the community.
It does. I mean, yeah, and you're right. He's always gotten what he wants. Right. And, as soon as the ceremony was over Monday, he was sending out stuff to recruits then, and it just amazed me. I'm like, he is ready to work, and I love that about him. I love his confidence. Some may call him cocky. He actually, out of all of the SWAC schools, his personality fits Jackson State.
Yeah, of course.
Everything, it fits. So I love them. I think it's a perfect marriage, actually. So, but, man, it looks like he's paying attention to the defensive side of the ball right now. In addition to Javarius Selman, he's recruiting 6'5", 316-pound defensive tackle Mason Smith. and JUCO edge rusher Jamie White, just to name a few.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, just think if you were playing and had the lead, how would you feel about these type of guys going out there to protect your lead?
Well, I mean, especially from the perspective of our winning seasons and those SWAC championship years, it was important that Jackson State had a really good defense, and they were those years where we had a great defense and we also had a good offense. Those were the really special years. So I think Deion is on the right. I think he's on the right track as far as getting especially good talent up front, guys who can cover. Because once Jackson State has a good defense, I think it's going to be trouble because just our history shows a great defense usually has a turnaround in a great season.
Absolutely. So are you going to try to make any of the games?
I would love to make a game. Yeah, the issue is I would like to come to more games often. I'm just always out of the country playing football, so this is
right.
It's always been kind of an issue, and this year would have been great because obviously there's no traveling out of the country and stuff. So
right.
And then the SWAC postponed the season, so. It's going to be difficult. I would love to, and if I'm available to, of course, I would love to come. I would always love to come do a game.
Yeah, and you play in the spring as well, right? Okay, so and we got a spring season, so we'll have to figure it out because we got to get you down here.
Yep.
So Casey, on Saturday I tagged you in a video, and I'm sure several other people did as well, and you put it on your social media page. And you talked about JSU giving you an opportunity. Tell us about that post.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's something that I'll obviously never forget, and obviously changed my life. I'm hoping a lot of people can say that, because of those decisions made, that it gave them some joy and it brought some some tradition back to Jackson State football when I was there. But most importantly, it was something that nobody else saw in me that people at Jackson State did, and some coaches, and Coach Comegy, Coach Ruffin, Coach Wilson, the athletic department at the time, the president. It all kind of just came together, and they did their due diligence on me, and they didn't just look at the surface level. They didn't just see me as some kid that nobody else wants him, so
right.
Let's not take a chance on him. And and it was just so strange because for me that it changed my life, and that was the only person, that was the only organization, that was the only university that cared to do the due diligence and look deeper at who I was, what situation I was involved in. And being an HBCU, they didn't care that I was white, and that was for me, that just changed the way I felt coming to Jackson State, because there was I came in with so much gratitude that not only was I motivated to do things myself, and I always play football to be the best, but it was also something where I was like, listen, these people took a chance on me. There's no way I'm going to fail them. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do everything I can to be the best I can be.
That's awesome, and that's a great attitude to have, because even though sometimes people, give you a second chance or, overlook certain things, some people still feel like you're obligated to just cater to them and not really give their all. And
right.
You gave everything on that field. I had just moved back from Dallas, actually, I believe in 2010. So, coming back to the games every week, home games, that was a ritual for me, starting back when I came home. So it was great seeing you play, and I thought you put everything out on the field, and you guys played as a team, and it was a beautiful thing to see. It really, really was.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And speaking of that, one of the most significant games of your career was against Southern Jaguars, October 27th.
Yeah.
I was at that game, and
you didn't leave early, did you?
That's what I'm about to tell you. I've never cried at a Jackson State football game. Men were crying. I was actually about to leave because we thought it was over, and the last 2 minutes was so freaking crazy. Tell me what you remember about that game and how you felt at that moment after that Hail Mary pass that sealed the win for us.
Yeah, so it was like it was like one of those games, playing in it and having so much control in what we did offensively, just because of the relationship I had with Coach Wilson at the time. It was it's kind of like, well, no, we're not going to lose. Like, there was something just I felt that we felt, and I knew deep down it was like no matter what Southern was doing, okay, yeah, they score. Okay, yeah, there's nothing, but there's no way we're going to lose to Southern today. Not in Jackson, not how this game played out. There was just a feeling, and I don't know, there was never a point where I was nervous about losing or. I don't know. Like, I just felt the night was going to be a good night, and I think our whole offense, people were throwing helmets and people were upset, people were leaving, but you saw the offensive squad kind of just like refocus, like okay, and we took it as a challenge, and I don't even I can't recall exactly my emotions at the time, but when we did score, it was like, wait, I was right. Like, we're actually going to win this game, and it was kind of like a shock moment. And after that, obviously, we all kind of killed a few brain cells celebrating and everything. But I think it was just one of those things that we didn't really believe happened, but we knew it was going to happen. Kind of like those weird paradox moments and when you're playing in a game of football.
See, when I say nobody, not even Southern, everybody was in shock. And we just, we stayed there. Everybody just stood there for like maybe an hour. Nobody moved. It was crazy. And, that game, just being there, it was like, I'm so glad I was able to witness that in person. However, I still watch that video sometimes. It comes up because I put it on my Facebook page, so it has the memory that come up.
Yeah.
So I watch it maybe twice a year. It's just like, especially since we've been in our lean years. So I look at what we truly are, because that's who we really are. Yep. And I interviewed Jaleel Johnson, one of your teammates, actually probably February, March, and we talked about this game. And he said. He was so glad. Well, he said the play before the Hail Mary would have made us lose the game, and he was so glad that you came back as clutch, because it would have been known as, he was the reason why the game was lost. And I was like, well, thankfully Casey saved your life, because he was like, he did not want to be known as that guy who lost the game, the biggest game, of that year, because it was just crazy. So that was
well, obviously that's nice. That's nice of him to say and everything. But there's so many moments in a game that play out, and whether that happened or not, that was just a game versus Southern, and that was my first time playing them. But for some reason, there was just, I went into the game with a certain amount of anger.
You knew we hated them. You knew.
I just knew there was some hatred, and there was so much leading up to it, and I was just, no way I'm going to lose to a team that I hate, that I never played.
Right. I love it. I love it. That's perfect. See, that's how you just come in the family. Whatever we feeling, you got to feel.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
We don't like them. So what was one of your proudest moments at JSU?
There was a few, like off the field, just the way I was embraced, with kids in the community, visiting hospitals, just like the impact that I never thought I would have, just because of, the decisions that led me to my transgressions earlier in life. I just never thought I could be a role model again, So coming to such an unforgiving place, I think was therapeutic for me, because, it just landed me around a community that just said, like, wait. Like that doesn't matter. Like, you're still a role model. And, that was great for me off the field. And on the field, obviously, like, my first year, I unfortunately got hurt against Elkhorn. And that killed me because not only were we playing for, a chance to make the FCS playoffs if we were to win by a certain amount of points, that goes on voting and ranking. So being hurt kind of really, that kind of crushed that moment. I also, wanted to do something special in my career. I wanted to break all the single season records. And because I got hurt in the, early in the second quarter, I failed to beat them all. But when I came back to the stadium, I kind of got like a standing ovation, and that was like on the field moment. That was like kind of surreal for me as well. So, with both those moments encompassed in the one, it was just, it's kind of like surreal looking back still.
That's great. It's something about redemption and giving people another chance. I was looking at Michael Vick a couple of weeks ago. He's an analyst on one of the sports shows, and I was just like, I'm so thankful that he didn't give up or get angry and, not keep going because this is who he is. And, God allowed him another chance, and I'm glad he took it. And the same with you. I'm glad you did not give up. I'm glad you kept going. And sometimes you just need somebody to, give you a push and give you a hand. And, I'm thankful that JSU was able to do that. And you're doing some great things. And speaking of that, I was going to ask you, what have you been doing since you left Jackson State?
Yeah, so, immediately obviously my mission after Jackson State was to get on the NFL roster. That had happened. I ended up going to the CFL for the rest of that year. And then I just kind of figured the CFL wasn't really something I enjoyed. It's a different type of football.
How so? Explain. How so?
Well, it's a whole different system. So instead of 11 players, you have 12. So when it comes to reading defenses, it's kind of like stripping everything you've learned and relearning a different type of game. It's a bigger field. It's different motions. It's different coverages. It's different route combinations. It's 3 downs instead of 4 downs. And it's kind of just like, I love football, but I don't want to dive into and, learn a whole nother thing. So basically, I found a home playing football and a whole experience I didn't even know existed. And I went to Europe, and I've been playing there pretty much since 2013.
And you guys have won a couple of championships, haven't you?
Yeah, yep. So my first 4 years, my first 5 years, we went to the championship, and I won 4 in a row.
Wow.
So that was great, and that was kind of, that was cool to do that, to tie the most ever in history there, and then. So then I went back to a completely different team, and I kind of wanted to, like, resurrect the program, kind of, like, challenge myself. So I did that last year, and unfortunately I got, I suffered some injuries. And so, yeah, I'm kind of hoping to be back healthy, full, and going to a different team next year and, kind of doing the same thing.
Okay, and you say you hurt your foot. Is that correct? You had surgery on your foot?
Yup, so it's on my foot, and it's kind of like, it's kind of a freak injury. It's exactly the same injury that Cam Newton suffered. So if anybody's unfamiliar with what a Lisfranc is, it's the same thing as what Cam had last year.
Okay. I do remember that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure you're mending well and getting yourself together. And I follow you and your wife actually on social media. Y'all are so cute on IG.
Thank you.
How can your JSU fans keep up with you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is just my first and last name. My Twitter is my last name and first name, and anything that's like really good as far as Jackson State stuff, I usually post on there. And then also my Facebook page is pretty much all football related. If anybody cares, it's also my Facebook is just my first and last name. And I have a good old picture from playing at Jackson State.
Yes.
as my bio up there. So yeah, I mean, I love posting anything obviously that I'm related to as far as Jackson State or alumni stuff or anything like that. So yeah, you can find me on all those things, and send me a message, say hi, don't be a stranger.
Okay. Awesome. And guys, you can actually follow me on She Say Sports on Facebook. She Say Sports 23 on Instagram. Casey, it has been such a pleasure to speak with you today. And like I said, I've been wanting to bring you on the show for a while now, but it had to be the right time. And I feel this was one of the last players for Common Chief era as well as our glory era, our last glory era, rather. It was befitting to bring you on today. And I want you to come back on the show. I was one of your teammates. I almost brought him on the show today, but I just kind of wanted to highlight you since I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while. So, but I'll think who it is. I think you guys are still good friends. But,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do it probably when the spring season comes up. Probably, I think that'll be a good time. And,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're truly one of my favorite Tigers, and we hope to see you soon.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having me. And yeah, anytime, just let me know, and I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Well, guys, that's my show for today. Until next time, this is Sonja with She Say Sports, and I'll see you on the radio.